Hey guys, welcome to Heart to Talk, the podcast. I am your host, Teresa Caesar, and you are listening to episode 54. Self-care is a necessity, not a luxury. It is important to feel touched, heard, and cared for so that you can regroup, recenter, and be ready to go out and conquer the world. These powerful words are from today's guest, Helene Gaudard-Castillo. Helene proudly runs a private practice called Solhene Acupuncture and Asian Bodywork in Tucson, Arizona. Throughout her 27 years in business, she's gained many dedicated clients who've been blessed by her gifts of healing and her magical touch. Helene's work is grounded in all different levels as a whole being of mind, body, and soul, life energy, stress points, and nutrition. Using intuition that comes from experience combined with Kikko and other techniques, she is then able to place the acupuncture points optimally. Helene is always evolving as a person and as a therapist, and will share with us her journey, the backstory to how she has become the healer she is today, and to tell us why her methods are considered to be magical when it comes to acupuncture and Asian bodywork. Friends, let's get started. I am so excited to have you on the podcast. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Teresa. Thank you so much. I feel so honored for you to invite me on your podcast. My name is Helene Gaudard-Castillo, and I'm from Switzerland. I came to the States world traveling, and I ended up in Santa Fe, New Mexico, to go to massage school. And I met my ex, who's from Tucson, so I ended up in Tucson. And then I started my own business as a massage therapist. And I was a massage therapist until pretty much 27 years. Until 2014, I went back to school and got my master in acupuncture. So I learned the traditional Chinese medicine, with what we all learn in school. And I've been the last 4 years mixing the two modality of massage and acupuncture, but not quite finding my niche, still searching who am I as an acupuncturist. And I was really, really asking last fall, who am I? I need a shift. I need something to fit me of who I am as an acupuncturist. And on my email, suddenly this continuing ed education program showed up, and it was about this method called Kikko method acupuncture. And I decided to take the class, and I've been hooked since, because it's a little bit a different style. It's Japanese style of acupuncture, and it's very hands-on. So it was perfect for me because I have experience in my fingers about feeling and sensing people. And so you do a lot of diagnostic by feeling. So feeling the abdomen and points on the hands and feet and then the neck to give you a pretty good idea what's the diagnostic and how you're going to treat the patients. And then you use a series of points to clear those reflex in the abdomen and hands and feet and neck. And it's magic. I mean, this is the word that keep coming up with my client. How did that clear out? It's magic. It's gone. I was like, I know. I'm really thrilled and very enthusiastic about it, because I'm really seeing a lot of progress in my patient, actually more than before. And I feel that I finally find my place in these modalities.
What are the benefits for someone listening who's like, yeah, I've heard about it, or I know this person that does it, but for them to maybe consider it?
Well, what's amazing with this new technique, by palpating the organs, the body pretty much tell me what's off. Is the liver off? Is the spleen off? Is the kidneys off? Like example, I'm seeing a lot of patients right now with long COVID, right? With recovering from COVID, and they don't show the same symptoms. I mean, there's a similarity of lungs, kidneys, and liver, and it depends on where the virus lodged. But I found out so that acupuncture, for that example, is a wonderful way to reboost the person back up to their full potential, and to see what's off in the body and release what needs to be released, and tonify what needs to be tonified, to just pretty much put back the person where it should be. Wow. And that's a wonderful medicine. It's an assistance to the body. So acupuncture assists the healing in a person. I mean, we all have our own capacity of healing. So I'm just being an assistant in your process of healing. And that's what I love about this medicine.
Ooh, I love that. Just listening to you talk about it, it just sounds so therapeutic and incredible. I love it. Is there anything else that you want to mention about just the benefits? I know you talked about the inflammation factor.
So there's been a lot of inflammation in joints, in the arms, or even in the guts, or lingering cough, So that's been really helpful for that, for digestion issues, for asthma, for insomnia. I'm treating a lot of people for the last 2 years with stress and anxiety too. I think that will be the number one problems that I see: a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, and needing that support. You know how you talk about the heart yesterday, and needing to nourish the heart and heal the heart too. There's a lot of people with patients with cardiovascular issues too. And of course, the general pain, neck pain, back pains, all of that. So it's a very complete medicine. I mean, we cannot cure cancer, of course. Acupuncture doesn't do that, but we can assist people that go through chemo, for example, the side effect of chemo. So it's a very much of a preventive medicine, and that's what I love about it. Build yourself up before you get sick. And that's really
I love
what
that.
I recommend people right now with what's happening in our world is to really work on your immune system and boosting your whole system up.
I do love that because I do believe that prevention is better than the cure.
The other things that I really like about acupuncture is that it's not only the treatments, but it's also nutrition, it's also qigong exercise. So this is a whole complete medicine. That's the whole package that come with, if you were coming to see me for a session, I could help you with the nutrition part or the herbs. I'm not certified in herbs, but my colleagues helped with that part, and exercise and all of it. I like to empower my patient. It's not about when are you coming next time. It's like, okay, how can we build you back up so you know how to take care of yourself?
Do you feel like you found your purpose doing your work?
Well, I always been really lucky because I always feel like I had very clear guidance. Seems to always show up in the right time at the right moment, and the right person showing me what the next steps is. And it's always been like that since I was little. So I do trust my inner guidance very much so on what's the next step to take.
I love that. Do you ever feel like sometimes your purpose finds you? You said you had digestive issues, and that's what got you to turn to acupuncture as a treatment?
I went to see this acupuncturist. I was 18 years old in Switzerland, and in 2 weeks he had me back on my feet. And that's been my choice of medicine since. And, I've been going around becoming a massage therapist, doing shiatsu, doing qigong. We're always going back to the Chinese medicine, and never thought that I could give myself a chance to go to school and actually pursue this modality, who is making me so excited. I never thought that I could become an acupuncturist, but there I am now. My acupuncturist in Switzerland had kind of told me, "Oh, this is really difficult. I don't know if you could." And talking about empowerment, I put it on the side, but I will always go back to it until one day my colleague got tired of me asking her question of how's my tongue look like, how's my pulse, and she said, "Ellen, just go back to school." And I made the leap. I was in a point where in my career I needed to consider what was going to be the next 20 years as a massage therapist, and it's very hard on the body. But also I was missing something. I was ready for the next step and the next growth. I needed to expand. I always love to learn. I'm always learning. That's just who I am. I never stop. I think when you stop learning, you start getting old. And you gotta use your brain all the time. It's practice, practice, practice. And so when my colleague told me that, something clicked on me, and that was it. I checked the school, and that time I was going to Switzerland to hike around the Matterhorn, and so I took the package of the program of the school, And during the whole week of hiking, I really thought about it. Should I give myself a chance? Should I just jump and do it and see if I can? Because if not, I think I'm going to regret it if I don't try. So I did. And it was tough. It was a 4-year program concentrated in 3 years. And that time our son was 13 years old and I was still having full practice and a home. And I don't know how I did it, but I just took one day at a time, I guess. And
I love that.
And it was the best things I ever done for myself. And passing the boards was just such a victory. And I went back to my acupuncturist in Switzerland. And
the one that told you that it's too hard?
Yeah,
right?
I hadn't seen him for like 15 years and I got to bump into him and I say, I just want to tell you, I just passed my last board and I'm waiting for my license. And you told me that you thought that I could do that. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that to you. I was like, well, but maybe it was perfect because that gave me that fire to pursue it, So it was perfect because everything needed to be in the right time. I needed to have the experience in my hands about touching people for so long and learning about the body to be able to extend that touch through a needle. So now it's not only my finger, but it's also the needles and the chi that goes through it and the whole being that goes through the needle to touch people even in a deeper level, because I felt that the massage was limited to one level. And with the acupuncture, I can touch human being in all different levels, mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional. And I love how complete and how whole as a medicine as it is.
I love that. Also, for those of you listening and you want to get empowered, build yourself back up and reboost, we all need it. How can we get a hold of you? How can we find you?
Well, my website is solhene.com, SOLHENE.com. I have a lovely office that I share with two of my colleagues on Swan and Fortlow by the Synergy Plaza, across Palomino Plaza. Yeah, so that's where we are.
In Tucson, Arizona. So if you live here, come. If you don't, you can fly here. Or if not, I'm sure you'll find a local acupuncturist. I'm going to also include this in the show notes. Is there any other topics or information or tips that you want to provide for our listeners before we go into the ending questions?
Yes, learn how to take care of yourself. Make yourself first. This is so important. If you can take care of yourself, how can you take care of other people? I had to learn that all the time and remind myself that all the time too. And it's not about how many hours do you work, but when do you make time to rest too? I mean, you say it many times, but I apply the same things. When it's for self-care, and self-care is not a luxury. Getting acupuncture or massage or body treatment is not a luxury. It's almost a necessity right now in our world. And give yourself the permission to do that.
I love that. Thank you for those. Wow, so amazing. Well, I'm going to ask you the ending questions per tradition. So I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite book?
Well, okay. So my ultimate favorite book is The Pillar of Earth from Ken Follett.
Ooh.
But I love to listen audible books a lot. So I listen to a lot of audible books in the car. And Bernie Brown. I'm a big Eckhart Tolle fan. And right now I'm listening to this book from this French writer who's called Fabrice Midal. And it's The Art of Not Giving a Shit.
Oh, I love that.
And he's a very famous teacher for meditation in France. And this book is just really, really help you to simplify life and not make it so serious. I mean, we take ourselves way too seriously sometimes. So this is a fantastic book. I'm really having fun listening to it right now. It's on Audible. I was happy to see it in English because I wanted my husband to listen to it in English.
Oh my gosh, I want to listen to that because I love audiobooks too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add all your books to my list. So good. Awesome. Okay. What's your favorite quote?
That shall pass. I used that quote a lot when I was in acupuncture school because there was day I was ready to just throw the towel, and I just had to remind myself that shall pass. The good moments and the bad moments, it all pass, and it's a matter of finding your midline in yourself and staying in this middle Not get too excited, not get too sad. Enjoy every moment to feel all those emotions, but just know that you're in the middle of yourself and that midline, and just observe the events that happen to you in your life as an observer instead of being stuck in what's happening, So that shall pass was really helpful for me, especially these last 3 years.
Wow, I love that. And the last question, what's the biggest lesson that you have learned in life so far?
Never give up. Yeah, and even if you think that you can do it, give yourself a chance. For me, going back to school, because I had a lot of doubt about myself, but I still gave myself that chance. And don't give up. If you fall off the horse, go back into it.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I do hope that you enjoyed my conversation with Helene, as all her information will be included in the show notes. Also, be sure to download this episode and share this podcast with all your friends and family. You may also find me on Instagram and Facebook for updates about upcoming podcast episodes and other projects that I'm involved with. Otherwise, friends, I'll be back in 2 weeks.